Hello everyone, from Tony the Scarred Ghost. Today I want to talk with you about Puzzle Bobble VR Vacation Odyssey. I don't know if you remember Puzzle Bobble, it was a very old game. Classical game where you have to match things with the same color. It was like classical game, very famous. And now Survios and Taito have decided to create the VR version of it, called again Puzzle Bobble VR Vacation Odyssey. And the idea is always the same. You have in front of you a lot of bubbles, a group of bubbles, and you have to pop them all. And to pop them, you have a cannon to which you can throw a bubble with a certain color, and if it matches, if it touches a group of bubbles with at least three bubbles of the same color, they disappear. So basically, if you have, I don't know, two green bubbles, you throw a third one that is green, it touches the other two, you create three in a row so they pop out and disappear. And the idea is that throwing all these bubbles with this cannon, you can make them all disappear. So I think that you already know the game. Maybe I've explained it in a pretty bad way, but I think you got the concept. And in this VR version, you don't have a cannon, you have like a sling. I have a slingshot, you have to just, a bit like in Angry Birds VR, you have to throw these bubbles. And in front of you having 3D, the group of bubbles that you have to destroy. Sometimes there are also multiple group of bubbles that you have to destroy. There's a total of 100 levels. Every level has a different difficulty, so some of them are about the number of bubbles that you have. So you can't just throw an unlimited number of bubbles. You have just a limited number, like 15, like 20, and the color is decided by the character that is next to you. So you can't decide the color of the bubble you want to throw. Other levels you can throw infinite bubbles, but you have a limited time, like 1 minute, 1 minute and a half. Usually you are very tight on time in this level, so you have to be very smart in popping the bubbles in the right way. So for every level that you win, you get a number of stars, so 1 to 3, this is nothing special. And depending on number of stars, you get some coins. And with these coins, you can buy some power-ups, like for instance, the possibility of buying a bomb that makes many bubbles to explode, or the possibility of choosing the color of the bubble that you need. There is another one about rotating the group of bubbles in a way that you prefer. You have to be very smart because actually these coins are not easy to earn. So for every level, more or less, you earn like 10 coins, sometimes 7, sometimes 11. And to buy one of these power up, you need 100 coins. And once you have bought it and used it, it's lost forever. So you have to be very careful and play the level at your best to get enough coins to buy these. You have just to use them when you really need them. So the idea I think is nice. In the end, it's fun. If you like the genre, it's fun. Popping stuff. It's a bit a puzzle game, so you have to find the best way to pop the bubbles. And a suggestion that I can give you is try to pop the bubbles that are close to the nucleus, because you have all these bubbles around the nucleus, and if you destroy the ones that are close to the nucleus, I don't know how to explain it. So you have the nucleus here, for instance, you have two green bubbles, and here you have lots of other bubbles attached to the green one. If you throw a green bubble on the two other ones, these three explode, and so if they explode, these remaining bubbles have no connection with the nucleus, so they fly away and you make a big combo. So the idea is that to unveil the nucleus, try to destroy the bubbles that are close to him, so the other ones just fly away, as you can then destroy just the nucleus and you win. So basically, this is the strategy that you might have, and that's how you have to try to win the game. And I found it pretty interesting because sometimes different groups, different bubbles. Sometimes the bubbles are moving. Then there are special bubbles, like one with the star inside. If you pop it, all the bubbles with the same color explode. Blah blah blah. So interesting. And if you like puzzle games, you may enjoy it. And the fact that there are 100 levels means that you have more or less, I think, 5 hours of gameplay, and this is not bad for a VR game. What I didn't like at all, and with me I've noticed also people that try to VR, upload VR, every reviewer has hated it, is the throwing mechanics, the sling mechanic. And this more or less for two reasons. One is that you have an indicator that tells you where your bubble is going to go. Imagine it like when you do the teleporting in a VR game. So you see the arc and you see the destination. The problem is that it is so sensible. So sometimes you are in this way, you know, okay, the bubble is going exactly where I want. While you release the trigger, of course, your hands move a bit because you know you're not a robot. So while you open the index finger, the hands maybe has a little movement, and with that little movement, the the arc moves enough so that the bubble finishes in another position. So instead of popping a group of bubbles, you just put a bubble where you don't need it and nothing explodes and gets super frustrating. So probably a bit of more auto aim will be better. I found it very frustrating, and this is made even worse, and this is the second reason, by the fact that sometimes the group of bubbles move, and so it is even more difficult. Even when they're static, sometimes the bubble doesn't go where you want. Imagine where the group of bubbles move. So in the end, it's very frustrating. And to make this even worse, a difference with the 2D version, 2D version you see all the bubbles, and so you can think what are the smart moves to pop them all with the littlest number of bubbles possible. But you're in 3D, so sometimes you don't see the ball on the other side. So there is this mechanic that every time you throw a bubble and you hit a group, that group rotates. And this is really mind-blowing because every bubble this group rotates and you forget what the bubbles are on the other side. You have to like think in 3D, remember what is on the other side. It's too complicated in my opinion. This makes everything like a mess. So there are difficulties in throwing the bubbles, there are difficulties in understanding how the group is made. Then maybe you have the bright bubble, the green bubble for instance, but all the green bubbles are on the other side of the solid group of bubbles, and in front of you maybe you have just blue bubbles, and it becomes really frustrating. This is probably all these mechanics are the ones that ruin the game. I'm not saying that it's bad, but they make the game much worse than it could have been, I think. Then, that said, I have to say that I played the first 32 levels in around 2 hours, so the total number of 100 probably is in, as I said, in 5-6 hours. And the first levels are pretty dull, but it's okay because it's a tutorial. But then there is like the first 30-45 minutes of gameplay, even after the first levels are, I don't know how to say, it's not motivating at all. It's just always the same thing. Okay, just pop bubbles, throw things, pop bubbles, blah blah blah. It's boring. Then after that, the levels become a bit smarter in the sense that you have to think a bit. You can have some strategy, and so it really becomes a puzzle, and it becomes more interesting. And again, this is a thing that I've read in all the other reviews, and I agree completely with them. The first hour is total boredom. And then the game starts becoming pretty interesting because you have to think about how to do stuff to win because the time is very tight, the number of bubbles is very tight, and so you have to be smart and think what to do. So after that first time is pretty good, I think. I had some fun. Regarding the visual elements, they are very simple. I played it on the Oculus Quest 2. They're very simple, but there are lots of different environments you played in. Very simple in modeling, very simple style, very cartoonish, but they were fine, I think, also because they're very varied during the night, during the day, sometimes you are in an ancient location, other times in a garden, other in a tropical place. I like the variation a lot. This was pretty nice. The graphic elements were good. And then also the audio was good. I think that also was appreciated that every environment had a different environmental sound, and this was nice. Comfort, you can play it perfect way seated, you can be standing, You can't have an outside because you are fixed in place, there is no locomotion, so that's perfect. So after all of this, what is my opinion? I think that Puzzle Bobble VR Vacation Odyssey is a nice game. I had some fun playing it after the first hour, but at the same time I think it could have been better. It could have been better with more calibration of the levels, not boredom for the first hour. Maybe boredom for the first 50 minutes because, you know, it's a tutorial, I have to learn, but after that, put me in the real strategy. Let me think, let me have a puzzle. And then the mechanic of the slingshot should be adjusted because this way is frustrating. And probably with some help, some bit of auto aim would be appreciated. And another thing, probably also the rotation of the block is not been a good idea. But while the first two features could be adjusted in future updates, the third one is a core mechanic of the game, so it will remain this way. I think that if you are a fan of the genre, if you are a fan of the saga, you can buy it. It's anyway a nice game. If you like the genre of Puzzle Bobble, you can have some hours of fun, I think. So not my favorite VR game, but anyway a nice game that you can play and have some fun if it is your genre. The cost to buy it on the Oculus Quest store is 20 euros. I'll leave you the link to buy it in the description of the video. I hope you have appreciated this long review about Puzzle Bobble VR. If you buy it and play it, let me know your impression. So that's it for today. If you like this video on this cool VR game, please like and subscribe to my channel and also send me a lot of good vibes that I need them. And for now, thanks for watching. I wish you a great day in VR. Bye bye.